Hi, hello, how are you? Good morning, happy Monday. Ignore my skin. I have angered it somehow, I don't even know. I got like identical pimples on either sides of my nose and they both hurt so bad. But happy Monday. I am feeling pretty good today. Didn't sleep very well last night for some reason. Just was having such bad allergies and couldn't get comfortable. It's also starting to get really warm here in Southern California. The last week has been like in the mid 80s and this next week is going to be the same. And I just don't do well in the heat. Get ready for me to start saying that again this year. I don't do well in the heat. This week I'm reading Graceling. I am 46 pages in. I've just been kind of picking it up here and there and reading a page or two. I think I officially started it on Saturday, even though I said that I wasn't going to do any reading this weekend. I just was really feeling it. So I picked it up and read a couple chapters before we went to my grandparents' house. My grandmother's birthday was last Monday and she's 75, so we went to go celebrate that. Sunday we went to my boyfriend's parents' house to celebrate Easter with them and his niece, who is just the cutest, chunkiest little thing. I love holding her and having her sleep on my chest, even though she is bigger than my chest, and it was so warm that I was like slumped onto the couch, almost laying down, and I had her laying on me trying to just keep her cool, but I managed to get her to go to sleep. I just love her. I love her. She's so cute. So I'm reading Graceling. I am 46 pages in. I'm in the middle of a chapter. I was planning to read it last night and just didn't. I was on TikTok for way too long and just ended up not getting to it. So hopefully I will get some reading done this week, or I should say tonight at least. During my lunch break I need to wash the dishes. I try to have all the dishes washed on Sunday for like the next week so that the kitchen is clean, because we are not great at washing dishes. But if it starts off clean, then it's not really like super dirty until like Wednesday or Thursday. But recently we've been really bad about washing dishes. It's just nobody's favorite thing. I would honestly rather like clean the bathtub or do laundry than wash dishes. But I'm gonna do that today. Fresh kitchen. We're having penne alla vodka tonight for dinner. I got an immersion blender because I hate a lot of Pinterest recipes want you to make the sauce from scratch and then pour it into the blender, blend it, and put it back into the pot, and I just don't want to make a mess like that. So I got an immersion blender from Target for 20 bucks and I am pretty excited to use that tonight. So hopefully it makes things easier. The blender part detaches from the handle, so I can just clean it off really quickly, and I'm excited to cook dinner. So I am really enjoying Graceling. I feel like I'm all over the place currently. I'm enjoying it. I read it, I think, when I was in high school. It has all of the classic YA vibes. She's not a princess, but she's, you know, a strong woman and she wants to do more for her kingdom, and she's secretly fighting the man, and it's been really good so far. I'm only 46 pages in, but I do remember really enjoying it when I read it the first time, so I'm hoping I will enjoy it just as much the second time around. Who is texting me? Oh, it's my aunt. I have a lot of reports to review this week, so I'm going to get back to work and I will update you guys later. Good morning, happy Tuesday. I picked at my skin, so ignore how irritated they look, and read. I did a very good amount of reading yesterday. I am on page 170, and I think yesterday when I updated you guys I was on page like 41 or something like that. So I read through like 130 pages, which only happens on the weekend and when I'm like towards the end of the book and all of the like major stuff is happening. But I'm just really enjoying Graceling. I wouldn't say that anything like super crazy has happened. The last like 20 pages or so that I was reading, there was like a big moment happening, but it was really good, and I just got to the second part. I didn't know was broken up into parts, so I'm at the Twisted King, which is part 2. Our main character is Katza, and she is the niece of the king, but she's basically just a weapon to him. She has a grace, which is like an enhanced ability for killing, which is super, super uncommon, not only for people with graces, but for women. And it emerges when she is 8, and she has this like weird distant relative or uncle visiting, and he's commenting on her eyes because people with graces have 2 different colored eyes. So she's got one green and one blue, which kind of explains the colors on the cover of the book. And he says that she's got such pretty eyes, and he's trying to guess what her grace is because at this time she didn't even know what it was, and he's like singing, or he goes, "Let me guess, you can dance." And she just kind of like gives him this weird look and is like, "No," and turns away from him, and then suddenly his hand is on her knee, and suddenly she has broken his nose and pushed the bone into her head. And that is how her grace for killing emerges, and it scares the shit out of everybody. And her uncle locks her up for like 3 weeks or something like that, isolation. But that's pretty much it. Everybody is afraid of her and afraid of what she might do, and people who have graces that are useless, they just get thrown out. So she is determined to not be useless, and she meets with the King's Guard, Ol, to learn how to master her grace, basically, to learn how to fight in every means possible. And as she gets older, I think when she's about 11, the king, Randa, calls on her and says, "I want you to go and deal with this man who owes me money," or something like that. And she basically just becomes his weapon and this tool that he uses to intimidate everybody around him. You looked at him weird, you owe him money, anything, and he's gonna send Katza after you. So she's older now. I don't know how much older, and she's been doing it for quite a while, and it's just feeling like she's done being his toy. And so the book starts off with her and Ol and Gideon, who are like her closest companions, friends, confidants, out on a mission because they've secretly formed this like council to do some good, because Ol, who is the king's like most trusted spy, tells him all of these things about thefts and raids and stuff, and Rand doesn't really care, and King Randa doesn't really care unless he can make a spectacle of someone. So they form this little like spy group, and they go and deal with these things, and they're on a mission to rescue grandfather Tilith. He is like the grandfather to the queen or something in a different kingdom, and he's been captured, and nobody can figure out why. He's not king, he's not into politics, he's just an old man. And so towards the end of, you know, rescuing him and taking him away, Katza runs into Poe, who is another Grace, and we think that his Grace is fighting, and we find out later that it's not. And I just really love the relationship between the two of them, because what turned out to be his real Grace is something that he's kept hidden because he doesn't want to be used as a tool. He doesn't want to be feared. Because to be a graced fighter as a boy is actually pretty good. It just means you're a really good fighter, and for men that's what they want to be anyway. So he pretends that his Grace is fighting, and he kind of has this moment with Katza where she's like, "You betrayed me, you didn't tell me what your true Grace was," and he's explaining to her that if people knew, he would be used as a tool, people would be afraid of him, nobody would trust him, would have no friends, which is basically the life that Katza has been living. So it does strike a chord with her, and I really, really like their friendship, and I hope it blossoms into more, although one of her companions is in love with her and has proposed to her and is upset that she said no, and it's just male, like, stubbornness and pride. But it's really good, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm hoping I can continue to make progress like this, and I might just continue on with Fire and Bitter Blue. My only, like, kind of gripe is that the books don't follow the same character. So it's the Graceling realm, but the next book follows different characters, and the third book follows different characters. So that's a little disappointing because I will probably end up wanting more of like Katza and Gideon and Poe, and that'll really be the end of their stories once I finish this. So we shall see if I decide to pick up Fire after this, but I think I should finish this before I start making plans for other books. So I'm going to get back to work and I will update you later. Hello! I just got back from taking my Nana to go get her hair done. I just dropped her off. It's like just down the street from where I live. Her car is currently being cleaned. She hadn't driven it in a while, and when she turned it on the other day and started it, there was this like awful noise. And it turns out that there was like a rat or something living in her engine while she hadn't been driving it. She doesn't drive very often. She doesn't get on the freeway. It's just like around town. So it's being cleaned. She had to wait like a week for someone to finally be able to clean it. And the guy was telling her, she was telling me while she was in my car, that he said that it's probably going to smell for a while. Like, that's just how it's going to be for a while. So I dropped her off for her hair appointment, and now I am home. Last night I only read about 50 pages of Graceling. I had the full intention of reading more, got into bed at 8 o'clock, and then my mom texted me that her printer was messing up. So I was on FaceTime with her for like half an hour helping her finish that. So I only got through 50 pages, but it's still really, really good. Katza has left the castle. She's with Poe, and I am just really, really enjoying the relationship between the two of them. It is so sweet, and he is just trying so hard to earn her trust. And also show her that despite the kind of graces they have, or having graces at all, they can still have friendships and have happy lives. It's just really sweet. I am pretty tired today. I've been having weird anxiety sleep the last couple of days, just not feeling super great about my body, so I ordered a hula hoop. I just need exercising to be fun, and I have to be really careful about thinking about like dieting and exercising. Trigger warning, I have never had anything diagnosed, but for like 5 or 6 years before I started dating Skylar, I was only eating once a day because I was going into work at 11, so I was sleeping until 10, sleeping through breakfast, working through lunch, and then sometimes going to school afterwards, so not eating dinner until like 9 or 10, or just having like chips and soda throughout the day. When we started dating, we were obviously going out to eat more, and so I gained some weight, but was fine with it, and now it's kind of starting to bother me. I just feel kind of like bleh all the time. But my problem is that when I start to think about dieting and exercising, I can get like through 2 weeks of it, and then I don't see that much progression, and I instantly start thinking I'll just eat once a day again, which I know is not healthy at all. That's not good for me. I shouldn't be punishing myself for having gained weight. By starving myself, basically. It happens occasionally. I'll like have a good weekend where, you know, making breakfast for each other, going out to eat lunch, stopping to have dinner, and then come like Sunday, I won't eat anything until I make dinner because I'm like feeling kind of bleh from having eaten out like all weekend. And then I do the same thing like Monday through Wednesday, and then my boyfriend's here on Thursday, and I'm like, oh, do you want like me to pick up lunch? Or so it's just a really bad cycle that I have, and I'm trying to get better at it. But I bought a hula hoop to exercise. I saw a ton of videos on TikTok, and I'm trying to do it in as healthy of a way as possible. I saw a video for a girl who was doing it for like an hour and a half a day, and she got a hernia. That's dumb. So I'm gonna start off with 10 minutes each way, and just see how that goes. I'm thinking because it's just hula hooping, it's something I can probably stick to, and 20 minutes a day really isn't that long, so we'll see. I just need exercising to be fun, or it starts to feel like a chore and I just don't enjoy it, and then my head goes to negative thoughts. I'm working today. I thought today was Tuesday, like all day until about like half an hour ago, and I was like, oh wait, it's Wednesday. So I only have the rest of today and tomorrow to work, and then I'm off Friday, which is so nice. And hopefully I will get to do as much reading as possible. I need to buy the 5th season. It's a thick book. Normally I wait until like the last week of the month to read my book club pick, but I don't think that that's gonna work for this one. I think I definitely need to start reading it now. So I'm probably gonna go pick that up during my lunch break or after work. I'm not 100% sure, but I need to get back to work, and I will update you guys later. Bye. Good morning, happy Friday. Today is my off Friday, so I did sleep in a little bit, sort of. I haven't been sleeping well this week. I've been having like stupid anxiety dreams, and it's starting to get warm, and we don't have central AC, so we've just had like the window open and a fan going, and it's not been quite enough for me to be like comfortable to fall asleep. Last night it finally was, so I did sleep good, but my boyfriend texted me at like 7:30 this morning, about the fact that he lost a hat, and I didn't want to be rude, so I responded, but it was like my body was like, okay, we're up then, right? Like, we're up. So I've just been laying in bed for the last like 2.5 hours with my eyes closed, like flopping back and forth from side to side, listening to Bob's Burgers. I think I might have fallen asleep for maybe like 20 minutes, but I'm up now. So I'm going to read a little bit of Graceling. I read a bunch last night. For some reason with this book, when I read, I like don't even realize that I've read so many pages, and I don't know what it is. Like, the font is a little bit large, but it's smaller than like middle grade. So I don't know what it is about this book, but when I read, I feel like I've only been reading for an hour. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's Marcy going crazy trying to catch something on the other side of the fence. She's never gonna get. But I got to... Anyways, I got to page 361 last night. I don't think I updated you guys at all yesterday. It was just such a busy work day. I couldn't really find a time to, like, update you guys for some reason. So I think Wednesday night I got to page 222, and then last night I got to page 361, and there are only like 470 pages. Yeah, so I have about 100 pages left, and I'm just flying through this book, so I think I'm going to sit here and finish it. It's 10:30. I don't know when my boyfriend is going to be home, but we are going to, he took a half shift today, and then we're going to his sister's in La Habra to take her a bunch of like old towels for their dog so that they can use them for the dog when they bathe him. And then we're going to watch Sunday because his sister needs to go into the office to get some stuff and go to the grocery store. So I am looking forward to that. So I'm gonna start reading for a little bit, and then I need to pull those towels out, because we forgot to take them to her last week, which is why we're going this weekend. But it's fine because it means we get to be by ourselves with Sunday and not have to share her with anybody else. So I am going to go for now, and I will talk to you guys later. Good morning, happy Sunday. I'm so tired today. I just got up and it's almost 11 o'clock. Our neighbors have a very sweet dog who has some problems. The people that owned her before, when they moved, left her in their apartment, and it wasn't until my neighbor's friends moved into that apartment did they discover that Lydia had been left behind. That's her name, Lydia. She is very, very sweet. She's a tiny little like pit bull mix, but now she's got separation anxiety issues, and whenever they leave her, they put her outside. Obviously she's not fully trained to be inside, which I completely understand because she tears things up, but she does this like high-pitched bark it's like a yap, and it's so loud, and their apartment is so close to ours. So last night at like 1:30, my boyfriend and I got woken up by Lydia barking, and we had to close our window, and even with the window closed we could still hear her, and it was enough for my boyfriend, who was tired enough that he just went back to sleep. I couldn't. I was awake for like an hour listening to her bark before I finally fell asleep. I think they must have like gone out to go do something, but like at 1:30 in the morning, or she fell asleep. But it was a while, and it took me a while to fall back asleep. So I'm tired this morning. I'm so tired this morning. Reading updates. I finished Graceling. I don't have it with me. I put it back on my bookshelf, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 star. I loved it. It was so good. It just didn't have like a 5-star feeling. I loved the relationship between Katza and Poe, and the fact that Katza didn't want to marry and Poe said that's fine. I will take you in whatever form you will give yourself to me, and however long you will stay with me, whether that's a day, a week, a month, a year. He understood that she had been used by the king for so long. She had lost so much of her childhood and her freedom, and now that she had it, she just wasn't going to stay put. She wanted to travel and see the world and do things with her grace that weren't just killing. So in the end, she ends up forming like a traveling school of sorts. She wants to go to all the different kingdoms and stay for a couple weeks and teach whatever young girls there want to learn, and women, how to defend themselves. And it was just such a good book. The ending when they kill Lek, I'm sorry if this is a spoiler alert for you, but it came out like 12 years ago. When she kills Lek, he has a grace to manipulate people. He's Bitterblue's father, and he's been manipulating his entire kingdom into thinking he's this like great man, and they come upon him thinking, we're gonna get to the castle, we'll try to focus as much as possible, not let him manipulate us. And they see him kill Ashen, which is his wife, Poe's cousin, and instantly he goes, oh my god, what a terrible accident, my wife. And Katza instantly is like, oh my god, how sad. And Poe grabs her and they run, and it infuriates Katza to think that somebody has control over her like that. And it happens again. She takes Bitterblue to Poe's castle, which Poe essentially gives to her. He gives her one of the rings that he wears, and she thinks that it's just a way to show that she knows him and to get help, and it's actually a ring that he's given her so that she is a princess. He gives her his title and his castle, and it was just so much. But the way that Katza gets to Poe's castle, and Lek is there. He's convinced everybody that it's his castle in that area. He's trying to like get the king to let him also kind of be king. And so they're brought to him, and he's about to spill the fact that Poe's actual grace is not fighting, that it's like mind reading basically, and that is enough to snap Katza out of like her stupor, and she just throws a dagger across the room and it embeds in his mouth, and he's just stuck to the chair, and it just happened so quickly. I was like sitting here on the couch at this exact spot, my boyfriend was sitting next to me, and I went, no. Like, I was in such shock. It was so good. Now I am doing another reread that I also read when I was a senior in high school, The City of Bones. Okay, I got to like the third or fourth book. Something happened, I stopped, because I know that the fourth book definitely wasn't out when I was in high school. It didn't come out until after, but I don't know if that's the one that I stopped at, or if I didn't read the third one. I'm thinking I read the third one and didn't get to the fourth one. It just wasn't out yet, and I think by the time it came out, I either just didn't know or didn't have an interest in going back to the series. So I want to finish The Mortal Instruments. When I read The Dark Artifices, because it's set in the same time period and there are characters who are the same age as Clary and Jace, we got to see Clary, Jace, Simon, Isabel, and Alec, and I was just confused about a lot of things. So I'm going to reread this series. I started last night. I picked up the audiobook on Scribed. I only got to like the third chapter, but it's narrated by Mae Whitman, who is in The Perks of Being a Wallflower. She's in Arrested Development. I think she's in Good Girls currently. She's in so many things that I love, and I love her. She's a great actress, so I was super excited to see that she was the one narrating. So I'm gonna read some of this on and off today. I have to grocery shop. I have to clean up the house a little bit. So we'll see how much reading I get done today, but I will update you guys tonight. Hello, I am getting into bed and I realize that I haven't finished off this video. I didn't do any more reading. It was a pretty busy day after I finally got started. So grocery shopping, meal planning, grocery shopping, going going to Target. I got a Brita filter for our sink. It was just a lot busier than I was intending, so I didn't do any more reading, which is fine. I'm getting ready to go to sleep now, so I'm gonna end this here. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, let me know how your reading is going so far for March, if you've finished anything, if you're in the middle of anything, or what you're planning on reading next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!